Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. I got that coming in when I tapped into the earth sign energy. And I got an interesting message coming in around this about the tarot archetypes associated with the different signs. And so I put them together. Of course, we have Old Scratch here, the devil representing Capricorn. And then on the other side here, we have the Hierophant representing Taurus. And in the center, we have the Hermit representing Virgo. And I thought, wow, that's a real different way to look at the signs, to look at them as their archetypal signature there, to get a visual of it. And it really does capture the energy that's playing out with the Earth Sign Collective now. And it also took me some interesting places when I was checking this out. First of all, I have to say I got a couple unusual downloads around this once I saw it visually. The first thing I thought about was Pope Francis opening up the portal to the darkness. And yeah, the media coverage of that and just the energy of that alone, right? It is a little bit some weird ass mystical shies, you know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. It's sort of got a vibe of epic proportions almost, it gives me that same sense of Lord of the Rings, and the one ring that rules them all and sort of the final battle royale kind of energy. This is what was coming through for me when I thought of that. And I was like, what sign is Pope Francis? So I checked it out, and Pope Francis is a Sagittarius. And I was like, oh, here he comes again, Mr. Mojo Rising. I'm telling you, I feel like Jim's a bit of my guide from the other side. And he says, break on through to the other side. And I thought, break on through to the other side of what? And then it made me think about just the time of year we're at here. We are at the time when the angels and the impious are commingling. And such is the way after the time of the longest night when the Holly King finally concedes the throne and the Oak King reigns supreme. And also, it brings forward that energy of the green man, the wild man of the woods. He always rises again. He always rises again. It's inevitable. Nature wants to evolve. Nature wants to continue to experience growth, and growth requires sometimes pruning back, right? It requires losses. And there's still that desire as expansion wants to come in for there to be the powers that be, the forces that be. They're like energy signatures, you could say, that want to hem in that desire for expansion. It's the duality. It's the duality. And duality is part of our material existence. It's part of being here on planet Earth. And I thought that this was really interesting, that, no matter how many times, though, that there can be the desire to stop, the growth of the light, the return of the light. It can never be averted, no matter how many times. There's resistance to that growth, no matter how many times old Jackal Frosty and his wily ways tries to cover up those tracks, try to cover up the trail. There's always a way through to growth. Always. There's always a way through to growth. And at such times, when there's great potential for great growth, it is so important to hold a lot of space and tender care around that Ace of Pentacles, you could say, that seed of potentiality. You got to be vigilant, because we know that the brighter the light, the deeper the shadow. And this little piece, this interesting message came in, and I think it really holds this energy charge here as personal energy for you, but also a collective energy as a whole. That it's a bit of shadow play or theater, you could say, puppet theater, to do the great reveal of what was once concealed right at the moment that a rabbit is about to be pulled from that old magician's hat. Okay, so there's something there about holding sort of a focus around this kind of energy. What can be very distractionary. I almost wanted to blend distraction with caution. Like there's a little bit of both of that there. To have a certain level of caution. I don't necessarily like the word caution though, because to me, caution sort of evokes that sense of fear. And I don't think it's about that. In fact, I think you got to break on through the other side of fear, because what's being called in right now is something more. It's the dawn. That's the energy of the season. And when all this came on through with Jim Morrison, I received this like really awesome gift from my dear friend Arbivo. It's the entire collected works, poetry, journals, transcripts, lyrics of Jim Morrison. And the other night, I felt really called to just like do a little bibliomancy and not even read it. I just knew that the next reading I was going to give, whoever I gave it to, they were going to receive the message. It was a message for them to hold. And look at him. I just love him. You know, he had such an intensity, and he burned real bright and real hot and real fast. And he definitely lived life on his own terms. But I took a particular card from the Infinite Tarot, and what I put to hold the space was the Dreamer. And I didn't even look at what card I had put in there at the time. 4, Sky. So there's something here about some opportunity is coming in here to weave a new way forward, to dream a new way into being. You're about to enter the cycle of creation. And I feel like whatever he wrote here, okay, because I haven't even read it yet, I wanted to experience it at the same time you all received it, okay? This is his handwriting, which is really cool. I felt like this has something to do with the journey ahead, you know, because we know that we're in a liminal space right now. We're in this space where we're not quite out of the past yet, but we're not in the future. It's an interesting time leading up to New Year's Eve, and that point in time, really everything is timeless, but we've all agreed to hold this belief construct that we get a fresh start when the new year arrives. So, you know, it's a little game we're all playing with each other. It's a little fun that we have through smoke and mirrors to, you know, give us a feeling we can start again. But there is this piece of we can start again any time, any moment, right now, the next second. You can start again. You always can start again. You always have the power to start again. This message coming through, okay? But to do that, you really can't be inhibited by fear. You have to know when it's time to break through to the other side of a bubble, of a wall that you put up, of a sense of restriction, of mirror, of illusion that's casting a false reflection, you know? So yeah, I felt there's something here in his words. It came through so strong, and then the way it all linked up with you and seeing this come through, you might actually during these next 72 hours, if you do have a tarot deck, you might want to pull out your tarot cards. So, you know, Taurus, pull out the Hierophant there. Virgo, pull out the Hermit, and Capricorn, pull out that Devil and put it in your pocket, you know? Let it be that ace you got in your pocket, you know, walk around with it, rock the energy, study the card, just, you know, move with it, see what it teaches you. It's interesting what happens when you start to align with the archetypal energies and understand a bit more about, well, why is that associated with that sign? So, yes, yes, and it certainly holds that energy charge of what is kind of coming in now, which is an initiation cycle and finding the way and carving a new way forward. And first, you got to find the way through within you before you know how you want to bring your light forward into the future. So, with the Four of Sky, this is also about create the space to dream, because there's new dreams that want to come through you that you're meant to share. They're meant to be a spiral of creation. They're meant to be a web of connectivity. They're meant to weave a new way forward, not only in your life, but in the people who will be affected by what you bring forward here. All right. So make time to like look up at the sky, do a little cloud gazing. Notice the shape shifting of the clouds. Notice the shapes they make. Notice the images that are revealed to you when you scry the sky. Look up at the stars. You know, don't get all drawn in by all the, you know, psyop stuff, you know, all the drone stuff, all that. Come on, man. It's all theater. It's all theater here. And there's so much more to see and so much more worth seeing. So let yourself do a little moon gazing. Let yourself do a little getting lost in the stars here, and maybe hold this message here with you. Let's see what this has to say. But, you know, work with your energy a little bit. There's something about that aligning with your archetypal energy for a few days will reveal much to you. So let's check out what Jim had to say here. Let's see what the message is for the Earth Collective, and just see what it reveals. Have it be something that's like a little bit of seed of inspiration as you move through the next 72 hours, how it plays out, what messages it brings you, what it opens up in you, how it maybe gives you a new view, opens up your doors of perception, maybe some doors of opportunity as well, okay? The doors came through pretty strongly. So I do feel like there is a door that is being presented to you. Could it be a portal? It could be a portal. Maybe there's too much fear too around stepping through a particular door of opportunity as well. Just something to hold space for, all right? And where did the fear come from? There's something about that, just holding space for that. Where did the fear come from? All right, let's check this out. All right, so Mr. MOJO RISIN wrote here, I received an Aztec wall of vision and dissolved my room. In sweet derision, closed my eyes, prepared to go. A gentle wind informed me so and bathed my skin in ether glow. Lifeguard tower on diseased beaches, barks, preaches, teaches, all must be destroyed before we reach the city. Each man is his own guide, but heed the tide, please heed the tide. And then we hide, shiver, pray, love, and cry. Now back at the beach, at the top of the sun, we fall in the sand and greet everyone. Where have we been? They all want to know. And so we tell them, it isn't high or low. It isn't near or far. It's not hard to get there, but you can't go by car. Ooh, I love it. Yes. Jim. Brought me so many gems, Jim. Okay. So I know a little bit unusual, but I like it. I like the flow of your download and how it's coming in here. And I do feel this is a new kind of flow. You're being initiated into a new kind of current that's going to carry you forward here. And we're going to get you a little detail, a little message, okay, for each of you. We're just going to pull out the Arcane BS deck. Keep the message really concise, because I feel like this is already a lot to kind of sit with, just marinate in, right? So let's check it out. I'm going to divide into 3 piles here. A nice, simple cut of the deck energy. I'm going to go ahead and call your energy in first, Capricorn. So you'll be the first pile here all the way to the left, okay? Maybe you're playing the role of a clown, of a sacred clown. The clown's to the left of me, okay? All right. Well, then we're going to have to put Virgo in the middle, right? So Virgo will be in the middle, all right? The way through. The way through is to find your own way. You can go your own way, man. You know, there's nothing wrong with going your own way, with blazing a trail. In fact, it could be quite an experience, you know, to do something that's really unlike yourself. It's quite liberating, I have to say, okay? And then we'll bring in jokers to the right. Jokers to the right is going to be Taurus there, okay? A little tricky energy, trickster energy, also jovial energy, entertaining energy, okay? So we're just going to do 3 simple cuts. We're going to look at the bottom card and the top card. Right? Keep it real simple. Next 72 hours, we're Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Okay. So Capricorn's already on top there. Just depends on where the cut comes from in the middle with you, you know? And it always comes back to that again and again and again, you know? We always have to come back to ourselves at the end of the day. So that hermit archetype about how can you really be caught in the middle? Wherever you go, there you are. It doesn't matter what's pulling you this way or that, you know? You can't really avoid where you're at. You can just sort of ignore it for a while. Oh, I got sentience around that, okay? Maybe more attention needs to be put on where you're at, what's really going on right now, all right? So first cut here for Taurus, okay? And then we know the top cut will be for Capricorn, but this middle cut here is for Virgo. All right, and here we go. Capricorn, so let's check it out. Next 72 hours. Ah, look at this, yeah. I have no effing clue, all right? I like this. I think you like that you don't have the answers. I think it actually gives you a real feeling of empowerment. I think you're ready to blaze a trail. Maybe you have a message that's meant to be shared. It spreads like wildfire. It lights up the landscape. It brings transformation. May have something to do with wielding a particular sword, wielding a sword like a pen. The pen is mightier than the sword. It also looks a bit like a quartz crystal point there. Clarity in your vision, clarity in your message, and what's coming through. It's your crowning glory. And the fact that you do not have an effing clue about how this is going to come through is exactly a bit of the magic that's needed to let it really funnel through you. I like this energy. You're not needing the answers. You're trusting the flow of your life. I like this. You're trusting the flow of your life. You're really done with half-price hot wings. You're ready for the whole bird. You're ready to be free like a bird. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to stay in that place of being cooked. Being cooked for settling for convenience. What comes fast, what comes easy. No, you're ready to take flight. You're ready to soar to new heights. You're ready to blaze a trail, even though you have no effing clue about where you're going. I like that. It's a really good starting point as you prepare to head into the new year. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yes. All sides of you are wanting expression, and you're just letting them all come forward. You're not trying to control it. I like this. You got an open hand here, not a fixed hand. That's a winning hand. I do feel like there is something that's really like going to tug at your soul. And I feel like that's going to start to build and build and build until you get to that full moon, the wolf moon that comes in on January 13th. But whatever sort of starts to stir within you over the next 72 hours before we enter the new year, it's going to give you a little bit of a clue. So I do feel like there's like Pathfinder energy coming through. And there's a part of you that might be sort of like egging yourself on, like, just go for it already. Just do it already. You know? And there's another part of you that's sort of finding a little bit of humor in everything that's kind of coming up in you, everything that's kind of happening in your life, the steps you're about to take, all of it, you know? You're finding almost like a little bit of humor in what has been a struggle. You're starting to realize that our struggles are actually the things that really can be like, they can be our salvation, actually. You know, they really just, they temper us. They up our mettle, man. And they get us where we need to go. You know, I think there's a lot that is coming through creatively through what was a struggle. There's something humorous about what's playing out here. I do feel like your focus is coming into view, and you are ready. You are ready to bring your voice forward. So I do feel like this is something that's coming in here. But I see, because of your willingness to not try to repress certain parts of yourself, or to be too sort of like shy to really bring yourself forward in a certain way, I feel like the call is just going to go to a point of being unable to be ignored, right? I do see you moving forward with something. You're taking the initial steps here, and I think you'll like where it takes you. It looks like really good energy, Capricorn. All right, let me go ahead and do a cut of the deck here, see what we got to expand on this message. Yeah, because I think that life started to feel like a little too scripted, or it started to feel a little too programmed, a little too robotic. It felt like you were tired too of just having to kind of like muscle your way through situations, tired of just feeling like there was a certain sense of monotony that was not allowing enough fluidity. And I think with that coming in, you got to the point where you're like, I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to move forward with this. I'm not going to hold myself back any longer, you know? And I'm going to make sure that I hold myself to this. Like you might have had a talking to yourself recently, you know, one of those moments where you like had to tell yourself, like, come on, you can do this. Bring yourself forward here. Do what you need to do to make it happen. And we do have 333 coming in as a synchronicity number for you. So pay attention to that when you see that coming up here, okay? Because it will point like a pathway through. And I do feel like when this path is presented to you, you're just going to be like single-minded focus here. I see you really staying on track and moving forward with quite a bit of determination, okay? So that's your energy coming in there, Capricorn. That looks really good. 11:55 on the clock. Yeah, big change, okay? It does bring about the ending of monotony and boredom in your life. It ends what's tedious. And even as you're wrapping up things that may be lingering, that are tedious, on the other side of that, there's something that is really capturing your focus because you're very absorbed in it. You like what you're doing. And it brings you into alignment. The road opens. I like it. It's good. Really good energy for you, okay? Coming in for Virgo. Let's see what we got. All right, we got the digging ghost, okay? So I feel like there's a little bit of a ghost from Christmas past lingering, perhaps. There's some old stuff that you might be looking at again, you know? tuning into again. And you may feel like something keeps coming up, you know, and every time you think you've kind of laid it to rest, it bubbles up to the surface again. And you may be wondering, you know, how do I stop this kind of cycle? How do I get to the other side of this? Some of you may feel that there's just kind of an energy that is lingering over your life that even though you do progress in a lot of different ways, there's something there that still kind of feels like it keeps you in a certain loop to some respect. I feel like there's something you're integrating here. It feels like you've been through a big emotional process of transformation brought about by life circumstances is kind of how it's coming through. And, you know, that's always a huge emotional journey when you're going through a lot of changes in your life. And the thing about that, though, is you still got to get stuff done, right? You got to go to work. You got to take care of the house. You got to run your errands. You got to stay focused. You can't drop the ball. And you're known to be very much focused in that regard. I mean, your house, the sixth house, is the house of work and routine. And I think at one level, it can be like a sort of like grounding point for you, right? It can be something that anchors you when you're going through tough times or when you're experiencing a lot of change in your life. It can be stabilizing. And I do think that's very important. And I do think you got that, you know? The crown on this digging ghost's head there does show that, you know, there's been some level of success you've achieved here. But at the same time, I think you feel like there's still more work to be done because there's something that still feels like a little amiss. And I think what's feeling amiss is something that is very personal and it's emotional. But the thing is it's something that still needs to be integrated. So I feel like you're kind of looking at this, holding a little space for this, looking back at the past a bit, okay? And maybe you're digging something up or you're digging deeper in yourself, or maybe you're creating some space where you can go deep, you know, and just really have an opportunity to feel what you're feeling. Some of you are digging deep into the archives, like you're looking at old photo albums, you're watching old videos, you know, you're tuning into the past, the memorabilia, the remnants of the past, and just sort of looking. It feels to me like you're looking for something there. Like there's something that you almost feel like I gotta dig until I find it. To me, it's like a key you're trying to retrieve here. You might even come up, you know, with something tangible here. I don't know why I got that. Maybe you're doing some kind of cleaning or organizing or unpacking or something like this, or you're moving stuff around and you find something that you kind of like forgot about or thought you misplaced. And at that moment, it's sort of like it jogs something for you, you know, something clicks in that moment. So there might be like a little clue coming through in an interesting way there about the way forward. Yeah, and it's interesting here. You could have been dealing with the Taurus. Okay, we do have the nip slip pope here, right? And they are coming in representing that energy of the Hierophant. So you could be dealing with something with the Taurus where maybe there's been like some kind of like bad blood I got, right? Maybe some anger, words that were spoken in anger. Sort of sitting with this, ruminating this, wanting some peace around that, maybe wondering like, should I send a message? Should I reach out? Should I talk to this person? You might kind of struggle at times in relation to this, you know, you feel like at one point, like, well, I really want peace. And at other times, I really want revenge, like an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, you know. Maybe you caught somebody slipping. Maybe somebody always had like you know, a lot of control over you or more power in a situation than you, or you felt really judged by them or something. And it's like maybe somebody is getting caught slipping here. But I also see like there is a desire for peace. Maybe this person desires peace. Maybe they realize, you know, that they slipped. Maybe it costs them losing you. before they realize that. This energy coming in. This could be somebody that you've been dealing with, okay? I do feel like something's getting pulled out by the root here, though, with the tooth there. You know? Something's getting pulled out by the root. I hope none of you are having any kind of dental stuff go on here. It could be possible, okay? It could be. But that's kind of like a side note energy there. I do feel this is something like, this is something here where I just heard baby teeth. So did somebody lose a tooth? Did a kid lose a tooth or something? I don't know. That's for somebody. You might get a message like letting you know that a child lost their tooth, you know. I don't know why that's coming in. Maybe it's their first tooth or something that they lost. I don't know. That might be the way there's like an opener here. It feels like there's somebody wants to like make peace in a situation, right? So it looks like that's kind of a focus. That's what's coming through. What comes up behind them there? I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, this is somebody thief here. This is somebody who's stolen your heart before, and it really, you know, you felt like you got stung, man. I mean, it hurt. Somebody really got their heart hurt in this situation. They thought it was going to be sweet, but they got stung. Somebody stole their heart, and they haven't felt the same ever since, you know? And maybe, you know, maybe they're just realizing that. I don't know why I got that, okay? I don't know why I got that. Maybe somebody slipped up. Maybe somebody fumbled you, right? They might have been really self-righteous at one point. But then they realize, like, whoa, I really fumbled the ball, man. And the realization of it stung because they recognize, like, but you have my heart. But you won't want to deal with me because I totally effed up. Yeah, it's coming through like that, okay? This could be with anybody too, like somebody that you feel close to too. It doesn't have to be like a lover. It could be like a family member, it could be a friend, or, you know, something like this. I feel like this kind of energy is something you're sorting through. There's something that's getting kind of dug up here and you're looking at, okay? Interesting. Okay, that's what I got for you. That's kind of the focus. You might be catching somebody slipping, or somebody may, you know, admit it. You know, they may be like, I messed up. You know, I did something I shouldn't have done. They may also talk really honestly about what they feel. Like, there were times I really was angry with you. I wanted to, like, you know, get even with you. I don't know. There might be like kind of like a clearing out happening in a relationship. I got a lot of sentience around that. There might be like some messages going back and forth. I see peaceful outcome there. Okay. And I do feel like somebody who wouldn't normally admit that they had really, you know, screwed something up is going to take accountability. Okay, that looks good. I mean, ultimately it looks good. It might be a little bit awkward though, I have to say. Okay, that energy just coming in, it might be a little bit awkward, might be a little bit uncomfortable, right? I feel like whoever, you know, slipped up here, like they're really feeling, you know, they're feeling bad about like certain things that they said or certain things that they did. You know, they realized that they were too fast to like kind of pop off. They brought too much heat. There was too much force. There was too much anger, you know, things that were said that never should have been said. Okay, it's got that vibe. Okay, so something here is getting like, it's getting to a place where I think you will finally be able to lay it to rest. That sounds good. That's actually a good positive energy, okay? All right, Taurus, let's dive into it. What do we got here? We got wet pants, and with that, we got the orgy, okay? So I do feel like, and right behind that, we got May's face. Interesting, very interesting, okay? So with this energy, I got a few things with wet pants. First of all, I mean, come on. This is like somebody stimulates your brain. Somebody really turns you on. You are a sapiosexual. You're turned on by intelligence. You are turned on with the quality of the communication. You love it when somebody can spin their words. That draws you in. You find that very intoxicating. You can get lost in this person's communication. I got that. Okay. This is somebody you're feeling. But I do feel also like this person's a mystery to you. And the more that you dive into their energy, it takes you deeper into the mystery within yourself as well. So this is pretty potent here. There might be opportunity for a little action here. I could see that, okay? You might be getting down with someone. You don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know if it will work out in your favor. It might get a little messy, but you're kind of like, I have to find my way to the center of this. It's like there's something I find when I go into the center of this. Yeah, it's a bit of a knot, right? But it's almost like you feel like if you can go into the thick of this, because I feel like this connection excites you, but it turns you on, it excites you, it stimulates you, but there's also something about it that scares you. There might be a little bit of an element too where it's a little complicated, it's like change the relationship status from committed to it's complicated, okay? Or from single to it's complicated. It's sort of like, I want to claim it, but with a little, like, can we put a little clause in the contract? That's how the energy's coming through a lot, because there is something here about, I don't want to get lost in this. Somebody doesn't want to lose themselves in this. Okay. Interesting. All right. I do feel like you're dealing with somebody here that is a mystery to you. I do think this person wants to get it on. I do think there is attraction there. I do think there's mental stimulation there, good conversation. It's complicated. And yet the draw to go all the way into the center of it is really strong. Okay. That's what I got. What do we have here? Oh yeah, a bunch of cats posing as a woman. Woo! All right. I mean, talk about double maze face energy. Wow, Yeah, you really don't know who you're dealing with. I mean, there's the presentation, but who's behind the mask? Like, who's really there? Who's really there? As some of you could be talking to somebody online as well. You're talking to more than one person. That could be a possibility, or this could be somebody that's like communicating with you through sort of like a false front, okay? They could have a fake account or something like that. There could be a few people you're connected to actually. This kind of coming through too, if you're getting into anything like online dating, connecting with people online, but you haven't actually like gotten a chance to interact with them yet. Face to face. Maybe there's something about this. Maybe you even ask, like, can we hop on and get some FaceTime here? This person's been avoiding it. There's always some, my network signal isn't strong enough for that, or, oh, I don't have the time, or, oh, yeah, I just got up. I don't want to be on the. There's always like kind of like an excuse. It never really happens. You talk about doing it, but it never really happens. Interesting for that to come in. Okay. This person might actually come on through. You might be getting a grand reveal after not knowing like who you were talking to, or never actually getting to, connect with this person in real time. I think you are going to finally maybe connect with somebody in real time. There's something about connecting with them in real time. It's like some grand revealing moment. I don't know what that is, but it's interesting. Okay, let's do a cut of the deck here on this, Taurus. I mean, I think you'll be happy about it. Ultimately, it looks good. You got something to crow about here with the gravy funnel. Here comes the gravy train. I mean, I do think, you know, you got some interesting stuff going on here for the next 72 hours. Okay, I do. I think that you also are, you know, you're ready for this. It looks like it gives you something to kind of like crow about, you know. There's some kind of fulfillment coming in terms of some kind of invitation. All right. Looks like it's of the romantic variety. Yeah. Ooh. On the other side, the parasitic fruit. Oh my gosh. Talk about the dualism there. Well, now I understand why something's such a mystery to you, why you're so confused. All right. I mean, you're going to have to really like hold space for this, you know? Is it worth it? Is the risk worth the reward? That only you can decide that. Okay. Interesting energy, Taurus. It does look like something here, you know, it could get you caught up. It could be a little naughty, but it could also be a little bit naughty, like hard to get yourself out of once you get into this, right? Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, you might be trying to make a choice about this. Do I want to accept this offer? Okay. Interesting energy. Whoever this is, they're very cocky. They're pretty confident that they'll get their way, that they'll get what they want. I got that. Okay. Whoever this is you're dealing with, they're going to lay it on thick, man. That's all I know. That's all I know. Interesting energy. Right. Well, you know, you got the angels and the impious commingling. So that was your theme that came in. Be interesting to hear how it turns out for you, Taurus, but I wish you well. I don't think it's going to be boring. It's going to be exciting. That ain't half bad. All right. Have fun and happy new year. Okay. Leading up to New Year's, 72 hours from now, but I'll wish you happy new year early and just enjoy this build up to that moment when it's the final countdown and you get to start again, even though you were always able to start again at any time, even now.